Amber. So at the time of recording this, it is Easter now, officially. So by the time you guys see this, I hope you all had a wonderful Easter. For those of you that celebrate it. So if any of you remember, like if you were here at the kind of the beginning stages of my channel, last year, towards the end of April, I posted about a bunny challenge that I had done. I'm not going to go into detail about the bunny challenge right now, right here. But basically, every year for the last 3 years now, I've been doing this thing called a bunny challenge where I draw bunnies for every day of April. I did it last year and I did it back in 2019. I figured that since I'm doing YouTube now, I might as well videotape some of my bunny drawings that I'm making and how I make them. So for this video, I videotaped 3 different bunny drawings that from day 2 to day 4. Yeah, because today's the 4th. And I'll be showing you guys what I did and how I did it and maybe tell you a little bit more about my bunny challenge. And I hope you guys like my ears, they're so cute. I just hope you guys like my bunnies. Well, bunny. This kind of took a weird turn as of last year, which I'll go into detail later. So I hope you enjoy seeing Winston and his little buddy Mal again this year. And I'll get back to you guys at the end.
So right off the bat, I started out by doing some sketches. This is something I typically do, especially when I'm doing challenges like this, and just in general, it's a good rule of thumb before doing anything, is to sort of sketch out your ideas. That way you know if it's going to work out or not. I had a couple different ideas, but one idea that I really liked and my first thought was, why not stick to the whole gum idea that I had going from the first day of April, where I actually had Winston getting stuck in gum. And I thought, well, why, since the word of the day was candy, why not have Mal offering Winston some bubble gum and blowing a bubble, and Winston just being like, no, I can't do that. It's like, no. Because he's like terrified of gum now, and he'll never partake again. And I know some of you might say, well, gum's not candy. Well, you know what? Why would we give it out for Halloween and other things with candy? It's candy, people. Another idea that I'm sure you saw in there was where I thought about having Winston sort of like popping a bunch of the bubblegum candy into his mouth. And I thought, oh, that could be like the calm before the storm or something. But in the end, I just decided to go with the kind of like a story sequential thing. I'm not making this whole story thing for the whole of April, but I just sort of thought it would be cute just to have Winston terrified of gum. And, you know, Mal just blowing bubbles and just be like, oh, you want gum? And you're like, why don't you want it? Kind of deal. And I like it. I thought it turned out really cute. After I did the sketching, as you can see, I actually started to take a colored pencil, an erasable colored pencil, and I just sort of sketched out my idea onto some bigger paper. And then I inked it. Not much else to say about that part. After inking, I went in with some color. As you can see, I actually had started coloring this one before actually recording, but I just sort of chose a couple pinks. I had already picked my colors the day before when doing the first bunny challenge. Well, most of the colors, at least for Winston and in the gum. And Winston typically wears a blue shirt and a blue bracelet that has a little half of a heart and everything. Yeah, and he it's just his color. His color's blue, while his buddy Mal wears a striped shirt and occasionally wears an orange hat. And I use the same, I love these two. They're supposed to be best friends as of last year. It was kind of weird how that happened. I intended to just draw bunnies for this entire challenge last year, but I ended up actually adding more characters like Mal the duck and Stan the snake, which, who knows, he might come later on in the month, we'll see. But Mal and Winston are best buds, so they have kind of matching bracelets, and they wear a lot of the same colors, which is blue and orange. Well, Mal is primarily orange and with blue accents, and Winston has blue with orange accents. And then I just chose some random colors for the gum and like the gum balls, and sort of went from there. The hardest part I had was probably figuring out the color for Mal, because I had to get the color as close to his normal. Last year I did pencils, compared to this year I'm doing markers and pen. So the colors aren't exactly the same as last year, but they're as close as I can make them. Sometimes they're a little more saturated or a little dull. They pop a little more, I will say that. So I would say they're more saturated. Very bright in some cases. But, you know, I thought it turned out good. So one thing, in order to keep Mal kind of like my original drawings from last year, I took that darker brown that I used for Winston's fur color, and I sort of just made little lines and spots just to sort of make his feathery look. Because I didn't want him just one solid color, and in my original drawings of him, he has like lines that simulate feathers. He also just has a white bill, but that works. Also, their eyes kind of go together because Winston has blue eyes and Mal has orange eyes. I think it all works. And then with the pen, I just sort of went and did some shading, just hatching shading. I found ever since I did the Chowder and Panini drawing, I really like this look, just taking a pen and hatching. And it does some amazing shading, in my opinion. Not fantastic, but it looks kind of cool and kind of like a storybook, and I like it. I also took a white gel pen and added a couple little highlights, and I think I'm going to keep doing this for the rest of the month for all my drawings, but I really like it. It's so cute. He just looks so terrified, and Mel doesn't understand why. For the next two drawings, I sort of did the same process. You know, I sketched up an idea. For day 3, it was rescue. I had a little trouble with this one. I wasn't really quite sure what I wanted to do. One thought I got from my husband was having Winston rescue Mal from the same situation that he had gone through with the gum. And I did like this idea, and I inevitably went with it, but there was another idea I felt I had to sketch out, which was Winston sort of rescuing Mal from a cliff's edge. I don't know why, and that's because I didn't understand what was happening and why this was going on. I figured, probably best to just stick with the gum idea, and it was kind of cute and fun to try out in the end anyways. And just like the last drawing, I went in with a colored pencil and just sort of sketched out what I wanted to do. This one I knew I wanted to do more full bodies, so I just had to figure out the exact angle in which I want their bodies. The hardest part was figuring out what to do with Mal's hat. I sort of just kept did I want it flying off his head? Did I want it on the ground? In the end, I did choose to have it kind of like coming off his head, but like sort of also be stuck to his head with the gum. A little weird. Kind of looks like brain matter, but it happened. And in the end, it still looked okay. It was kind of fun. And nothing too different with the colors. I stuck to the same thing. One thing I will say, if you guys want to make gum, and I found this kind of really helpful because I've never actually done a lot of gum or sticky things, and I think this works for any kind of sticky thing. At least for me, it worked in this case, is make some random, like, lines in the middle, like, kind of like gaps. It's weird, because you don't always think about that, but, like, when I did this, I found making the gaps in between, like, the gum and making it look like long, thin spots, it was, like, stretching as far as it could go, and that at some point it was going to snap. And I think it really worked. Because you can see I did that here, like, right on Mal's butt and everything, and I liked it. And then I did some hatching at the end, where, in order to kind of make shadows and everything. Just a little tidbit there for you if you are curious on how to do stretchy substances. So day 4 was Easter. Literally, it was Easter Sunday on the 4th. Now I've done Easter before in the last 2 years. Just because Easter falls in April, and it's sort of like, why not make an Easter drawing for it? I once drew a bunny like painting eggs. Last year I drew Winston and his friends hunting for eggs. This year I thought I kind of want to draw Winston asleep in an egg basket. So I did a couple sketches. I did a few, actually, like 3 different ones. But in the end, I went for this one where he's sort of just laying on his back, his paws on his belly, and he's just sort of taking a nap in this egg basket. Yeah. It's funny, though, because in the actual drawing, he ended up being, when I did the sketching for this, and, oh, look, it's portrait. I didn't expect that to happen. Sorry. I honestly, I was not expecting to go portrait when everything else was landscape, but like I was saying, I wanted him to just sort of sleep on his back and his paws on his chest, like he just decided to take a little nap. It's funny, though, because he ended up being a lot smaller in the final drawing compared to the sketch. I don't know how that happened, but it did. I think it's because I made his head really small compared to a couple things, but it worked out in the end. It looks good, I think. So one thing you might notice is I actually added a giant bow to this basket, which I didn't actually do in my sketch, and that was sort of a spur of the moment thing during the actual final sketching phase. And I thought it worked because there's so much open space up top. And, when I think about Easter baskets, they're usually decorated in different ways, whether they're colorful baskets or they've got bows and other things just attached. And, I thought the little bow would be a nice little touch to have on there. And I think it really pulled it to get the whole thing together in its own. And then I went in like usual with the coloring, sticking to Winston's colors. You might notice that his markings are a little different, and that's just because Winston does not have symmetrical markings. He's got a spot on his left eye, but he doesn't have one on his right eye. And he's got some of his little socks are a little smaller or longer depending on which leg it is. The spots in his ears don't really place in the exact correct spot ways either. I really like that, though, because it kind of goes with how some bunnies can actually be, where they have different spots in different places, and I think gives him a little bit of character, and I like it. I went for a little basic colors. I wanted to do some bright, fun colors, so I grabbed a blue kind of like this turquoisey blue for the bow. You notice I might be doing some of these lines, and that's because I accidentally did it on the little circle, or the little like knot, and I liked it because it gave some texture to the bow. So I thought, why not keep doing this? Part of the reason why I had done stripes originally was thinking, well, maybe I could make it a stripe bow. Then I'm like, nah, that's too much. And so the ink kind of dried, but I liked the whole texture that gave. And then I just went and did some random patterns on the eggs, using some previous colors I already had out, and then adding a few others that I hadn't used yet. And, just out of my old random markers that I have, because I have a ton, and I just never seem to use them. And I felt it was very necessary to use them with this challenge, because it helps me practice and everything. Yeah, and then I used 2 different browns actually for the basket, and sort of just went alternating through, and I really liked that. It gave a lot of different colors and textures to it, and overall, I really like this piece. Who knows, I might actually make this sticker or something, may pop it on my Redbubble, we'll see. In the meantime, there are a bunch of line arts and coloring pages for these on my Ko-fi, which I'll have a link down in the description for that. If you really like these sketches and want to color them yourself, because I really like these, and I am very happy with how they came out. So real quick, one thing I realized I didn't mention is the fact that I am using a piece of paper underneath my hand, and this is in order so that I don't actually smudge the markers and that they don't get on my hand. The problem with most of these markers is they are water-based, and thus they will smudge, especially like if anyone's worked with any markers, they'll understand what I'm talking about. And this sort of just keeps everything nice and looking without having to worry about handprints.
Those drawings turned out so cute. I love them. Oh, it's great. Winston has a special place in my heart, as does Mel. I hope you guys enjoyed them as much as I did making them. If you guys want to see my progress for the next 30 days, why not follow me on Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, or Ko-fi? I will be posting all the way up until April 30th, every day, every bunny that I make. So, and I will also be having more bunny videos coming to you throughout the rest of the month, showing some other bunny drawings that I make. But in the meantime, check those things out. Oh, and side note, on my Ko-fi, I do have coloring pages on there with a lot of bunnies if you're interested in coloring bunnies. And some of those coloring pages consist of the 3 that were shown, the 3 drawings that I made today. So if you want to get those for yourself, so for you or a young one, feel free to color them and, tag me in social media. I'd love to see what you guys do with them. If you'd like to participate with me in the bunny challenge, use the hashtag bunnychallenge, and I'll make sure to share whatever I see of your guys' art, and I'd love to just see what you guys can do. I'm gonna have some videos up here if you guys want to see some other stuff, and in the meantime, I guess I'll catch y'all next week. Bye!